At the time of this video in September 2016, this political situation in America is somewhat charged. And many people have said if the election goes a certain way, they would prefer to move up here to Canada. Well, being a public-minded citizen, I decided to make a video explaining some of the things you might find here that may be different or in some aspects may be completely alien to your way of life. Now, this is in no way an attempt to show that Canada is better than any other country. This is only a way of explaining that if should you come up here for whatever reason, you might find yourself a bit surprised to find that it's not the snow-covered polar bear wandering, hockey worshipping wasteland as you would probably expect from general presentation of Canada in media. Yes, the people in Canada are very polite. It's just a general way we behave. We don't immediately bow and scrape for everybody, and there are a few assholes who are generally rude to people, but on the average, you meet somebody in the street and they'll say, "Pardon me," or "Excuse me," or they go to clerk and say, "I'd like to buy this, please." We're just, on the whole, nice people. Canada does indeed have gun control, but it's not the wild, lawless environment that you might be expecting. For a person to get a gun, they have to undergo a certain amount of testing. They often have to cover a class showing they actually know how to do proper gun safety, and in many cases they have to register it as well. You can have guns, but you have to follow these procedures in order to have them legally. And if you break these laws, you can have your gun taken away, or if a person is actually injured in the process, even face jail time. So if you want to come up from the US and you like guns, you'll have to leave them behind until you can legally arrange to get more guns here in Canada. Yes, even your beloved Mr. Shooty. Given that Canada is a large area with very few people in it relative to, say, United States, people naturally assume that we know everybody in Canada. This is akin to saying that you know everyone in, say, Los Angeles or New York. Canada is not a small town where everybody's all gathered together. It's spread out over a wide area. While I may not know your friend Bob or Ted or Alice that came here to Canada, I'm sure they're very nice. We are a welcoming people. When someone comes out to this country as a tourist or to stay or anything like that, we'll just be nice to them. We'll say, "Oh, how you doing? Have you heard about this place?" Or "There's a nice place over there," or "Let me show you this great restaurant that has a fantastic poutine." We don't regard people as strangers, therefore dangerous. If someone breaks the law, we'll arrest them, certainly, but we don't regard everybody as a potential danger just because they want to cross the border. Yes, we do have an armed forces. We have an Army, a Navy, and an Air Force. It's not terribly huge as opposed to, say, America, because we have a policy of general non-intervention, and most of our actions, in a military sense, happen as a member of the UN. This may be a little difficult to understand, but just because our money is multicolored doesn't mean it's monopoly money. It's full and legal tender here in Canada. In fact, the fact that it's different colored and has certain aspects like different types of fabric and ultraviolet dye, and some have a sort of a plastic window in them, actually makes it more difficult for them to be counterfeited than in other countries where the money is essentially one shade. No, don't get me wrong, there are religious people here in Canada. We just tend to be a little less freaky about it. We accept many different denominations and faiths, and for the most part, if they act responsibly, we'll treat them with respect. We don't have very many cases of people of, say, one faith attacking another faith because, well, as part of the whole general respect thing and because it's considered bad form. And if someone attacks someone else because of their religious faith, they're less likely to be arrested as they would if attacked them for any other reason. So you're not going to find a whole lot of Bible thumpers and people resting in the church firing guns up here in Canada. By the time of this video, there is still, bafflingly, a great deal of turmoil and discussion about legalized gay marriage down in the United States. We've had it in Canada for over 10 years, and it's worked out great. I myself am not gay, but I figure if two people love each other and they want to get married, what does it matter if they're man and woman, or man or woman, or man, woman, or fish? Though admittedly it would mean the honeymoon would probably have to be on the coast. On average, I figure, as many Canadians do, that love is the important thing, not which particular opening they favor. Yes, it can get cold in Canada. No, our atmosphere does not freeze, and we don't have polar bears wandering the streets. Saying every part of Canada is freezing cold is akin to imagining every place is like the Northwest Territories. Or saying that Seattle is always raining, or California is always sunny. We may be a little colder on the average than in the average United States because of a little thing called axial tilt, but we're not the frozen wasteland that you might be expecting from representations of the media. We have what's called socialized health care. That means that we pay a small portion out of our own personal taxes towards the health care of everyone. But for basic elementary health care, everybody pays for it and everybody benefits. Yes, here in Canada we use this strange, bizarre, and baffling system of measurement called the metric system, which actually works out quite well. I personally was a child when it was first instigated, and I love it. Especially because it makes a lot more sense to have water boil at 100 degrees and freeze at 0 degrees, rather than, well, a measurement based upon the length of a king's thumb. Canada does not have a king, or a president, or a queen, or a great blue chicken that everyone bows down and worships and gets golden eggs. Now, our system is based on the parliamentary system. Speaking, each province, similar to a U.S. state, has a premier, and that premier is the current head of the political party in charge. And the prime minister, the man in charge of Canada overall, is the head of a particular party that is voted in. We also have the opposition, where the opposite party is basically put in charge of using a check and balance system to keep the people in charge from getting out of control. Their job is essentially to argue in the House of Commons to keep things balanced. Yes, we enjoy hockey. Yes, it is considered to be our national sport. Yes, occasionally fights do break out, but it's not a holy event. People like hockey, some people don't like hockey. Some people like curling. Some people like golf, though I'm personally baffled about that one, but, well, live and let live. But overall speaking, you're not going to find people worshipping hockey players like you would, say, a football player down in the U.S. And on the whole, games are fairly civilized. A lot of the sports equipment that we wear when we're playing hockey is to avoid accidental injury, and fights are usually broken up pretty quickly. Well, that should help to give you a general view of what things are like here in Canada and how different they may be from how you're used to living down in the United States. If the election turns out the way that you fear it will, you're welcome up here, provided you behave yourselves. And if you're just visiting, well, we love tourist daughters and we'll treat you really, really nice. I'm some Canadian guy. See ya!